Darkness was a horror film that came out May 13th of this year. Now, you probably have forgotten this movie already. Not only did it release the same day as Money Monster, but it came out in the slew of Captain America Civil War, so this movie got buried real quickly. And that's a good thing. To sum up the plot of this movie, it's about this family who have their own difficulties with themselves and each other, but while they're visiting, I think, the Grand Canyon, some mountain place, the autistic boy in the family makes everything worse by bringing home a bunch of rocks that he found, and now there's an evil in his house, and oh no, they gotta deal with it. Let's get into this. Now, I was not anticipating this movie at all. The trailer that came out was I wasn't really that impressed by it, and second of all, my good buddy Jerome Latimer, aka Bromy, because he's such a hardcore Call of Duty gamer, told me that the director made a movie called Wolf Creek, and that movie is on his top 10 worst films of all time. So not a lot of good things going into this movie. And yeah, this movie is trash. Like, there's no question about it. This movie is garbage. It's utter, pure trash. It is the worst horror film of the year, which is kind of surprising. I thought the worst horror film would come out in January, but no, it's May. What do you know? My main problem with this movie is the direction. It is so lazily directed, edited. Every scene felt clumsily edited together to tell this really cliched story. It didn't even feel like the plot of this movie was even finished. It felt like the three writers of this movie, including the director, sat down and they wrote a first draft of the script. And then they began working on the second draft, but they were like, you know what, we're fine with this right now. Yeah, we can do this one. Let's just start shooting right now. That would explain so much, because this movie literally was so lazily directed. The cinematography is really poor in this movie, and every scene felt like it was clumsily edited together, and every scene, I'm not kidding, is a cliche. Think of a horror cliche. Go ahead, picture one in your mind at the moment. Chances are that cliche is incorporated into the movie. It felt like the director read a book called Horror Movie Cliches 101, and he studied that book and then incorporated every cliche in that book into the movie. The best thing I can possibly say about this movie, and this is reaching, folks, Kevin Bacon and Radha Mitchell, who play the parents, I thought they were at least trying. It felt like that these two were trying in the movie, even though at times they even seemed bored with it. But, you know, that's fine, because even their bored performances were better than some of the performances in this movie! It's actually kind of a shame, because I think with a better director, definitely better writers, this movie could have actually turned out to be a good dramatic horror film, because there are actually some dramatic elements in this movie that make me think if they got rid of the horror, this would have actually been a somewhat decent drama. Then you combine the horror in it, it could have been a really good dramatic horror movie, but the director really did not do a good job. There are literally subplots that don't go anywhere. One that was really weird, the daughter, played by Lucy Fry in this movie, she has an eating disorder. She makes herself throw up into jars that she hides under a bed. First of all, are the parents, anyone in the family, not noticing that there are jars missing in their cabinets? Like, they don't notice that the girl just takes a jar and then never puts it back. Like, there's tons of jars under a bed. Literally, in one scene, the big reveal that she does this to herself, they pull up the mattress and, oh, look, under the bed, there's so many jars of vomit under there. Oh, have you not noticed that these jars have been missing for the whole time? Also, why does the girl do it in a jar? Like, maybe it's better than doing it in the bathroom, because maybe someone could knock on the door and hear you or something like that, and maybe a room is a more safer place to do it, but doing that also really doesn't help you out, because then you have this jar of puke in your room. You can't walk out and get rid of it because someone's gonna see you, so you just have to start hiding them under your bed. And there's tons of jars under that bed. This is not the best way to do this, I don't think. Now, this part of the movie, I think if more people saw it, if this movie did not get completely buried by the other summer movies that came out in May, I think this would have been a really big controversial thing. The young boy in this movie and his autism. I think the way they portrayed it in this movie, the way they incorporated it into a plot device like, oh, it's just him being him when a paranormal thing happens, I think that actually will offend some people. And I understand where they're coming from, because in some ways I even felt offended by it. They did not do it well at all, and the way the actor, the young boy plays Jim Gordon on Gotham, and I really can't stand him in Gotham. I used to like him at first, but then he got all whiny and I don't like him anymore. And in this movie, this is worse than Gotham. Holy crap. He did not do a good job playing this, and they really did not do the autism factor well in this movie. And it doesn't help that they made him the most annoying character in the movie. So, come on, director, writer, and guy who plays him in the movie. Do I even need to mention that the jump scares are lazy? Because the jump scares are lazy in this movie. Usually all sound will drown out, and then a loud noise happens, and oh, that caught me extremely off guard because you turned down the volume and then raised it because something was jumping out. Even though the thing you might be showing might not even be a scary thing, or it might just be really, really freaking stupid. Seriously, I think James Wan and Mike Flanagan just need to take every horror film director in Hollywood, put them in a room, and teach them what it actually means to make a good horror film, because it really does seem like Mike Flanagan and James Wan are the only people that really understand it. And guys, this movie contains the worst climax, the most abrupt ending, the worst ending overall of the whole year. I don't think anyone really cares about spoilers, so let's dive right into it. First off, there's a portal that opens up in the young boy's bedroom, and Kevin Bacon goes in like, "No, don't take my boy," and he pretty much has to just survive the tall creature things that are watching and put the stones back in their place, and all the stones go back, and this climax is so lazily directed. It's honestly the most baffling climax I've ever seen of this year. It is so horrible. And they put all the stones back, and he grabs the boy and gets him back into the room. The portal closes, and then following 10 seconds is them having a picnic together. The film then cuts to black. Wow! I'm not kidding! A really poorly directed climax happens, and then once it concludes, they show 10 seconds of them having a picnic. They don't have any big talks or anything about what just happened. It's just, oh, we're gonna enjoy each other now because we learned a lot from this really horrible experience. With picnic time, yay, film cuts to black. Why? Guys, this is the worst horror film of the year. I don't think any other horror movie is gonna top it. This is easily the worst one. So I'm going to give The Darkness a D-. Kevin Bacon and Radha Mitchell were trying, so I'm going to give it some credit for that. But still, this movie is utter garbage. If you did not see this movie back in May, good. Continue to not see this movie. Anyways, guys, if you saw The Darkness, leave in the comments below of what you thought of it. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.